while back, I was reading this book by nootropics aficionado Ryan Ballow, where he talks about all kinds of nootropics I've never heard of, like uridine monophosphate.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on nootropics, on testosterone, on male performance, and on, frankly, hosts of other stuff. Please subscribe to the channel if you're into that stuff. Hit the bell to get notified of all future content. Hit the like button. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. Totally cool. But if you like it and you have the time, I'd really appreciate if you just click the like button. If you want to support us or you want access to very powerful nootropic stacks and nootropics guides and hosts of other cool products relating to performance, you can do that at livecortex.com, and the link for our website is in the description of this video. All right, so what I want to do is I want to bring you to a video by a guy named Joseph Everett, who has obviously a very popular YouTube channel with 2.15 million subscribers, where he talks about a lot of stuff. It's called What I've Learned, and I actually caught him talking about nootropics. A friend of mine named Rich Sheffrin turned me on to this video because the guy actually talks a lot about nootropics, and there's a special surprise regarding your boy somewhere in this video. So he goes through a bunch of things that helped him improve brain performance relative to nootropics that I think is going to be relevant to all you folks, so let's just jump right into it.
Wouldn't you like to know how to supercharge your brain and make yourself smarter and more radical than ever? Yeah, me too, but the brain isn't just a car that you make go faster. Being smart and productive mean different things depending on what you're trying to do. There are literally hundreds of brain-boosting smart pills or nootropics that tinker with your brain chemistry to make you function better. So in this video, we'll talk about how to know which nootropics are more likely to work for you and your unique brain, a research chemical / aquarium cleaner which gives me both mental and physical energy, but also makes my head hurt and turns my pee blue.
Yeah, so who knows what the dose was. Methylene blue is a pretty interesting compound. I think for mitochondrial optimization is where I've sort of seen it be used, somewhat comparable to quercetin. Wouldn't couch it as a nootropic necessarily. You're really not going to get that much of a performance benefit from it, unless, of course, you're dealing with some sort of mitochondrial issue or oxidative load, in which case, yeah, it's something that's going to optimize that system or those systems or aid in those things would help you to function better. At the same time, it may not be without side effects. You got to dose the stuff carefully.
But what's interesting is that while some nootropics didn't work for me, they did work for my friends. So why is it that modafinil literally makes me unable to procrastinate, but just gave my friend a massive headache? And why does this cocoa flavanol supplement give him a boost in focus, but just makes me nauseous?
Interesting. Yeah. Perfect example how people respond differently to nootropics. Modafinil helped him significantly, and then the other guy got a headache. And that's probably a histaminergic response. People sensitive to histamine or have a lack of, I think it's diamine oxide. That's the enzyme that breaks down histamine in your gut. If you got some sort of deficiency of that, or a deficiency in bifidobacterium gut bacteria, which are histamine degrading bacteria, then you're not gonna be able to tolerate histamine very well. Let's continue.
In his 2004 book, The Edge Effect, American physician Dr. Eric Braverman proposes that much of our personality, from whether we're anxious and uptight to how easily we motivate ourselves or how good we are at focusing, could be explained by different levels of neurotransmitters: dopamine, acetylcholine, GABA, and serotonin. Neurotransmitters are very complex and have many functions, but as a rule of thumb, dopamine keeps you excited and wanting to do things. It makes you motivated. Acetylcholine increases your processing speed and keeps you focused. GABA tones down excessive stimulation and lets you relax. And serotonin fosters positive mood and creativity.
All right, so we're going to get to some of the stuff that he tried, but he mentioned something I want to quickly touch on. People think that their personalities are stagnant or still, like can't be modified, immutable, and that's not true, right? Like if you got a person with some sort of neurotransmitter imbalance, and they're acting one way or the other, maybe they are quick to react to things, and they're maybe a little angry or negative especially, right? Seemingly depressed, walking around all frumpy. It's not who they are, but people get confused and go, that's just who I am, or that's how that person is. Person's probably dealing with some sort of imbalance. Could be a hormonal balance, but it obviously could be a neurotransmitter balance. I've seen people completely transform when they have the right nootropics targeting the right system. So let's fast forward all the way to nicotine and see what he has to say about that.
More GABA. Next up is, of all things, nicotine gum. I say gum specifically because I don't smoke cigarettes, which obviously do more harm than good. And by the way, it's all the other crap in cigarettes that actually gives you cancer, not nicotine. A primary reason smokers say they continue to smoke despite the consequences is to stay focused. On that note, rates of smoking are quite high in people with ADHD. And this paper specifically says that people who have difficulty staying focused may benefit from nicotine.
Okay, definitely. Nicotine is a very powerful nootropic. I have on me right now a nicotine patch. Like, totally true. Nicotine is a very powerful nootropic. I did a video some time ago where it was like, nicotine is either comparable to or in some cases better than Adderall. And yes, if you respond well to it, nicotine is like, you will notice it, and especially in the patches. Not necessarily the gum as much because of the pharmacokinetics and how it's evenly distributed.
When I chew nicotine gum, my mental chatter gets a little quieter, and it's easier for me to get in the zone and stay focused.
Yep, this is via nicotinic acetylcholine receptor binding, which is going to activate said receptors and give you more focus. Ginkgo.
A noticeable boost in motivation and energy for about an hour. As a nootropic, it has many effects. Just to name a few, it raises dopamine, it increases blood flow to the brain, and it seems to be generally protective for brain cells.
This is ginkgo.
Next up is aniracetam, which raises serotonin and is one of the most famous nootropics for boosting creativity. Looking at a 2019 review in the journal Frontiers in Neural Circuits, it seems that serotonin may have a role in bolstering creativity. Baba Shiv of Stanford University says specifically the state of high serotonin and high dopamine are great for creativity.
Yes, perhaps. However, that's very hard to achieve unless you're manipulating it pharmacologically with compounds that are targeting both systems. Serotonin tends to have an inhibitory effect on dopamine, right? So when you raise extracellular serotonin concentration, you're going to have, as a byproduct of that, generally lower dopamine concentrations. Now, aniracetam shouldn't have a real positive or strong effect on serotonin. I'm not sure which paper he's referring to. Generally, it makes the hippocampus release more acetylcholine and then positively allosterically modifies the AMPA receptor, and that's going to foster LTP, which is going to aid in short-term memory.
On that note, the mind-blowing entheogens like acid or mushrooms have led to creative insights for many people, and they have a very strong effect on serotonin receptors. Now, I haven't tried any racetams as they're illegal in Japan, but as mentioned before, I do find it easier to do creative work when I'm taking L-theanine.
All right, I just want to touch on the psilocybin thing. Yes, that's essentially massive 5-HT2A receptor agonism that is happening. Now, actually, psilocybin binds to every single one of the serotonin receptors. There's, 12 or 13? There's like a lot of serotonin receptors, but predominantly a lot of its action takes place at the 5-HT2A receptor, just so folks know.
That could be because it relaxes me, but it could also be because it raises both dopamine and serotonin. Serotonin also appears to reduce connectivity in the default mode network, that monkey mind part of the brain.
Now we're going to switch to a really cool part where there's a little surprise in there, but he makes a good point about, like, you got to have a strategy when using nootropics. A lot of people are out here using them haphazardly, and that's just not the way to go. You may get semi-okay results, but if you want really, really good results, you have to use them strategically. So let's talk about it.
If you still want a brain boost, at least have some rules of thumb before you buy a bunch of bottles of pills. For example, for me, it was helpful to take a look at what neurotransmitters I might be lacking in and which ones I may already have enough of. Based on that earlier questionnaire, my dopamine seems to be fine, and the nootropic dopamucuna, which mainly raises dopamine, just makes me feel hot and ill. However, it works great for my friend who scored low on dopamine. A while back, I was reading this book by nootropics aficionado Ryan Ballow, where he talks about all kinds of nootropics I've never heard of, like uridine monophosphate, theacrine, and vinpocetine. Interestingly, the nutrients iodine and selenium were also on his list of nootropics. This totally made sense to me because they are two nutrients that are very important for your thyroid gland, which, if isn't functioning properly, can really tank your energy levels and make you gain weight easily.
Okay, so he makes a couple points, highlighted your boy. Thank you, Joseph. Really appreciate that, man. What he was referencing was Smarter, Better, Faster. That's the book that he read. I could tell just by looking at it. That was a book that I wrote somewhere in, I think, 2019, which then I updated to encompass all of the research chemicals like 9-methylbeta-carbolene and PRL-853, wherein I give a bunch of stacks, teach people how to use nootropics, but really discuss this methodological approach to using nootropics. Again, haphazard usage of nootropics is rarely going to get you targeted results and usually will end up in diminishing returns or side effects, right? You got to be dosing nootropics correctly. And as Joseph Everett said, read the book, Smarter, Better, Faster. You can actually get the audiobook version of it, which comes with the downloadable PDF at livecortex.com. And ultimately, tyrosine, selenium, iodine is going to make you synthesize more T4.
Helpful to take a look at what neurotransmitters I might be lacking in and which ones I may already have enough of. But let's say you have a job interview coming up, In that case, you'll want to take a nootropic that enhances language processing, something like paracetam, so you don't trip over your words.
So shout out to Joseph from What I've Learned. Go check his channel out because he's like talks about all kinds of things relative to health, and like he's got a video on testosterone here with 1.7 million views. So go check it out. Dude's actually super smart. Yes, mentioned in the video, smarter, better, faster. If you're looking to learn about nootropics in a way which like is distinguishing the information that you're going to find out there on Reddit from like actual high quality information, just go get Smarter, Better, Faster. Again, that's an audio book, so it's actually me reading the book, but you get the downloadable digital PDF if you're not into audiobooks. Our nootropic stack, yeah, look, go buy a bottle of Torque. This stuff is flying off the shelf right now. Still 25% off. The coupon code is 25Torque. It's going to take a hefty amount off of the price. Go read the reviews. See what people think of this stack. It's been out for quite some time now, and people honestly love it. A lot of auto ships, guys. Get it on subscription. That's the best way to get it. It can be taken daily. Lots of stimulant energy, but also a clean stimulant effect. If you need to hire me to help you formulate nootropic stacks that are targeted to your brain, again, this is what I do. This guy mentioned me in this video. When was this? A year ago, right? And he was reading Smarter, Better, Faster, which I wrote in 19. Like, I had to have been an expert then. It's 2023 going on 24. I'm into nootropics for 16 years. I think I have some pointers. Importantly, I can help you formulate good stacks, dial in your TRT protocol, fix your energy problems, interpret your blood work, host of other things. You can check out all my specialties at the website, and livecortex.com is in the description of this video. All right, I appreciate you guys being with me. Much more content to come this week. We got a live stream coming more than likely tomorrow, so look forward to that. The thumbnail will be on YouTube, so you can get notified of when it launches. Make sure you've got notifications hit so that you know when your boy is pumping out content. Otherwise, you know the deal. Epic, more content like a fire hose coming to you soon, and I'll talk to you on the next one.